as you continue, then you'll understand what the riddles of chaos are. And there was a great war a long time ago, as seen in the Mahabharata. And this war that we fight in heaven is not a war between good and evil. It's a war of negativity that has gone primitive from our primitive actions of pollution and senseless killing and things like that, and not bringing together the other religions by accepting. It's not just bringing together the other religions, which is the fear of what the Illuminati want to do, but what it actually is by not accepting others' belief. You're telling them that they don't know what love is. You're telling them that our God is better than their God, and you're telling them that God doesn't love them, and that their God's love is not good enough for you. So it's an endless fight. When there's so many similarities in each religion, and in that alone, it says that what state we're in, and that if we are to bring God, then by not doing these things and recognizing these things, we can't bring God to us. It's impossible to bring God to us. So, I mean, it's hard for people to accept certain things about, if we can really truly believe that, in fact, there are things like, we were in fact genetically hybridized, and that it says this in every religion. But I mean, it gets more descriptive in Mahabharata, where they show a picture of an ape as half human, half ape, and then they go to the Sumerians and they say that there's actually a genetic code, CCGT and A, and these are actually code markers, and they show splicing. So it's like, what the hell? They don't even have microscopes then. And then how do you explain pyramids? And then they tell you in certain religions, like in the Torah, about negative energy. And it's not Luciferic, it's satanic. And satanic is not Lucifer, it's the adversary, the element, the energy, but not an elemental. Elementals fire, earth, wind, air. And the fifth element is love. And basically, that's all of these things we have to incorporate. And in this way, we can get rid of misconception of the 2012 phenomenon. It's not the 2012 phenomenon. It's the 2012 paradox. And this paradox is all those negative things that are going to happen, trial by fire. All those things are going to happen unless we unveil, or apocalypse, which means to reveal the great mysteries hidden to mankind. And by definition, it says the unveiling of the hidden mysteries, in revelation, or revealing to mankind. And end of times is just that. End of times is the end of death cycle, end of days, which is the beginning of night. Which what happens at night is we dream, we go to another world, we confirm it because our dreams, we feel better, sense better, and we feel happier when we're dreaming. It's because that world exists. And the days is that. And the days is that no more being wired, controlled behavior. This misery that we all live in. 52% of the world suffers some form of depression. There's a reason for this. And there's no coincidence that 98% of the world is religious. We're not religious. We're believers. Believers to find the truth, to find and feel more love. And because we're having problems with the actual ciphers, with the actual decoding, we don't know how to, we can only experience shuttles of love, slides of love. Then heaven becomes a state. It becomes something that's so godly that we can't even attain it. When it says right there, Jesus tells us, And you can't tell me that he doesn't even have secrets, secret teachings. They all have secret teachings. And then Salman the Persian, which is Muhammad's companion, says we're all from Adam. He's saying basically the religions are together. And then Muhammad goes and says, which is the second biggest religion in the world, says that Jesus is the one God. Of course he's the one God. He's not the one God in that sense, but he's from somewhere else, from immaculate birth. There's pictures of him in a spaceship coming to Earth, and because he's from another world. Pure breed. He's a purebred and a pure spirit, and he's obviously alien, and that's why he's saying he's the one and true only Iman. But they come together to fight ignorance and teach the world of spirituality. And then you think, whoa, you know what? There's truths here. There's truth in the Israeli Bible. There's the revelations in the Mind prophecies. Then you have the I Ching that also says numerically that 2012 time stops, end of time, end of days. And then you have the Hopi Indians saying that we have two existences. We have, as the fifth comes to the fourth, and spiritual reality or spiritual matter comes into this world, then what actually happens is that we have two choices. We can lead the path of materialism and go downwards, or we can go upwards into the fifth, or bring heaven to earth. And in that way, we can actually live in heaven instead of just feeling it as states of bliss or nirvana, of eureka mode, or living in the zone, or feeling the zone. Why would we possibly ever want to do things like that? And it could be tremendously and so much better. So in closing, I just want to say, Jesus wants us to come to him. As it is above, so be it below. As it is within, and this is what I say, therefore without. So to make heaven come to us is to make heaven permanently on earth. As within, to know that within, and to know that your God from within is to be without God, to be as one with God, and then to evolve as our birthright, our inheritance, which is the God gene, and activating that in our brain, the eighth intelligence, and that eighth intelligence will connect us to God permanently. But we have to do it as a race. We can't let the few enlightened beings and avatars do that for us, like they've been doing throughout history, and then dying all the time. What sense is that? We have these great spiritual leaders dying all the time. You had who's that lady? Fatima die. You know, I mean, you don't have to be spiritual to be an avatar or an enlightened being. Like, it's obvious that JFK was a mental avatar, or leader avatar, just as much as Malcolm X was a mental avatar and a spiritual avatar. And then you had Gandhi. You had so many of these people. They're saints, and they just come and they die. People, beautiful people like Bhutto, who was a fearless leader and a female leader, die. And what's the sense in all this? So here it says no, and it says also, Jesus says, where I go, you cannot come. And I forget what else he says, but basically says, heaven is somewhere that you can't come right now because we're in a different part of the space, but we can be there. That's one meaning. But there's a literal translation there, and I can't get it right now because I'm just a little tired. And everything's in here. And in closing, I want to say this. No one knows the day or the hour, not even the angels, nor the Son, but only the Father. Be on guard. Be alert. You do not know when the time will come. Mark 13, 32, 33. So we must evolve on our own to bring the kingdom of God to us. So it's very important that we realize this. If we don't, then, like I said again, we will be in over our heads, and this trial by fire will be obviously solar flares from our shields being knocked out from passing and getting hit by gamma rays from Thule, which is the center of the galaxy, which is the same energy that Hitler prayed to and used the Spear of Destiny to amplify those prayers and brainwash everybody. And there's another thing that when those shields go down, it gives us the 7 days of darkness, because it takes 7 days to reboot the shields. And the days of darkness actually is a translation in time, a riddle of time, riddle of the Sphinx, but not riddle in the Sphinx, riddle of the Sphinx. And what that is that it's going to knock out all of our satellites, it's going to overload our power grids, and there will be darkness, and it will be chaos incarnate. And another thing too is that people will be looting, there will be pollution, there'll be physical crustal upheavals, because the pole shift is going to force a crustal shift in tectonic, not tectonic plates, but the mantle, crustal, I think it's crustal mantle, will cause extreme infrastructure damage. So our existence at the technological level, everything that we've worked for the past few hundred years, and it's amazing what we've done in 300 years, is going to be gone. It's history as we know it. So I ask you, do you want to make it his story, H-I-S story, history, or do you want to make it our story? It's up to you. Do you want it to be mankind, or do you want it to be humankind? Do you want it to be Homo erectus, or do you want it to be Homo sapiens, Homo intelligent? Now that's up to you.